Live.
We are live.
Yeah.
Shall I start, Anu?
Yes.
John Donne, the father of metaphysical poetry, was obviously a great poet. Without John Donne, metaphysical, that's a nature of mind, all those mind games. So, metaphysical poetry in English literature is incomplete. His metaphorical, sensual, and religious kind of poetry is what he's known for. He wrote sonnets. What is sonnet? A poem of 14 lines. He wrote epigrams, a short poem, especially with a satire and with a witty ending. For example, he wrote Niobe by children's uh, birth and death. I become so dry that I am now mine own sad tone. A lame beggar, he wrote. I am unable, yonder beggar cries, to stand or move. If he say, true he lies. He wrote elegies. Now, what is an elegy? A poem of serious reflection, typically a lament for the dead. Uh, all these elegies he wrote in early 1590s. So, John Donne was born on 22nd of January 1572 to Roman Catholic parents, whose work is distinguished by its emotional and sonic intensity and its capacity to plumb the paradoxes of faith, human and divine love, and possibility of salvation. So today I have Jyotirmaya ji with me, who is a poetess, a writer, mentor, a coach, global peace ambassador, and without her, the exploration of poetry is not possible, let me tell you. So we'll have her version. And at the same time, I have Anupam Koramitas with me, who is the founder of Agaze Mehfil. So she'll also contribute in reciting the poem. So welcome to both of you, two great people in my life. Hi,
Namaste. Hi. Hi. Hi.
How are
Hi,
you? How are you, both of
Tammy.
you?
I'm good, and it's always a pleasure to talk about literature.
Literature, yeah.
And
I
now
think
today
without
on
you,
Beyond
literature,
Dance.
any discussion is incomplete, Jyoti ji.
Hi, Kenny and Dr. Jyotirmay. Thanks for hosting this show. And so let's.
Thanks to Anu, this is your original concept of exploring poetry. So,
Yes.
Jyotir ji, Jyotirmaya ji, there is hardly any other English poet who has defined moods of love so clearly, which covers wide range of feelings, from extreme physical passion
Yes.
to spiritual love. Maybe that's why
Yes.
the John Donne is known as love poet, because when I was doing my masters in English, uh, I mean, one thing only I remember, that John Donne love. Obviously, I read that Rising Sun also, but one thing I always remember: John Donne love poet. John Donne love poet. Maybe because he has mixed
Yes.
everything from love to
Mm.
spirituality to religion, and ultimately that culminated to be love only. So what do you? I mean, what you
Yes.
have to say that? Why is
Yes.
it
You're
love?
right. Yes. You're right, because the variety of love that he has portrayed, it's in 4 moods. People normally know 3 moods, but there were the 4 moods in love in dance poetry. Normally, they put him, the theme, in 3 phases because they put him in 3 phases, that is before marriage, and then after marriage, and then when his wife died. And that's how they put. But there are 4 moods of his poetry, love poetry. And the first one, when he was a bachelor, he was a poor man, and he wanted true love, which is totally, in a way, very difficult or impossible to get. And the first one, therefore, was cynical love, anti-woman. The woman he met never came up to his dreams. Number 2 was romantic love. Now, this was ethical and metaphysical. He gradually had come to meet the right woman. And after marriage, the third one was conjugal love. And this was his married life. And he was very happy.
He was very happy, yeah.
And and the last one is the platonic life after his wife's death, when he became very religious. So that is known as spiritual love. That love, he believed, because being a Christian, he believed in afterlife. So the love would not die, would become spiritual, and they would meet after death. So these are the 4 moods that has been continuously in his life and influenced almost most of his poems.
Right.
So there we are. And love poetry is very inventive. He has been very inventive in that and very unconventional in forms, content, and style. It's not like the previous ones or whatever they wrote about love, like Spencer, you know, the Renaissance. He was very different from it. No flowery language, nothing like that. No idolatry or
Very
something.
original. Very original.
Yeah.
What is it? What
Very,
is
very
experience in
unique.
writing?
Very unique. In many of his poems, Donne uses very far-fetched images. The reason is that this was an age or when man was going beyond the earth. He was imagining himself to be a part of the cosmos, and then stars, and they were getting very theology. Theology was very important. Philosophy was coming in, and therefore his language became highly imaginative. Science was coming in, and he was very passionate, and he was full of wits. And some of his poems, like The Flea, you know, The Flea, the biological, the geology, yes, has come in. And it's very highly erotic also. Allusions he gives, like when the flea is taking the blood from both of them, it is infused. So why not get physical? So basically you find him in a way very open, which was
Very
not
open.
there previously.
So I think when he writes this, writes about cynical love, I mean, from there, John Donne's life is reflected in his poetry.
Yes, it is. It is reflected from you can know, these are the different stages of life that he has gone through. You know that he is searching for a woman and he's not.
You're gone on mute, yeah.
He got it. So there's romance, there is ethical, there is happiness, and then conjugal life is wonderful because it goes into such details. And then, of course, ultimately, it's the platonic spiritual love, the one he desires, that it's okay. Even after death, love lives on. So what he says is that our temporal life, that is converted to immortality through love. That love
means,
never dies.
I mean, what I've seen is that we don't have to, we like any other poet or any other writer, we don't have to go through the biography. I mean, if you keep on reading his poetry,
yes,
right after his birth till his death, in the sequence, his whole life is reflected.
Yes, especially about his love life.
Especially about his love life, yes.
And his metaphysical state of mind.
Yeah.
And basically, the way he transcends later on, the platonic love, that is, that desire, that tradition, that love is a desire for beauty, a value, immortality, and that transcends the particularity of the physical body. So the love doesn't remain only when you are physical, but also when you are beyond. It's not only when you're physically close, but also when you are separated, like when he separated from his wife. The love still remains like a compass. He has very nicely said, the compass, the center is there, although you can separate it and count. So you can be in two continents, but still love is intact.
Love exists, yeah. So this is,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, from, I mean, this is where I was coming, because this is one of his well-read and highly appreciated poems, valediction, forbidding morning. This is an imagery that John assembles in the poem that can, I mean, that can never be taken for its face value.
Yes, never.
So he compares two lovers to 2 points of compass.
Yes,
Yeah.
he says that.
Yeah.
And even if you're separated, the center remains intact.
Center
They are not
remains.
separated. They are not separated. They are very, very much enforced in the middle. So the love is there. However far you may take the compass. So basically,
once anything is centered, I believe that thing is intact.
Yes, the distance doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. So I would request Anu to start with the poetry. Anu, would you recite this poem, Forbidding Morning?
Valediction.
Yeah. So yeah, I gone through this poem, valediction, a forbidding morning. So as I was going through it, like why did he write this poem? So it was written in the year 1611 or 1612, and he wrote this and he wrote this poem for his wife Annie More before he left on trip to continental Europe. So the speaker of the poem is about to part from beloved for a long duration. And though he deeply loves her, he says they shouldn't mourn their separation. So it's he has used many metaphors in this poem. So I will read some of the stanzas which I really liked in the poem. So just give me a minute. Let me get it to it. Yeah. So it starts with this: as virtuous men pass mildly away and whisper to their souls to go, while some of their sad friends to say, the breath goes now, and some say no. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods, nor sigh tempests move. Toward profanation our joys to tell the light lady of our love. So there is one stanza I really liked. Our two souls, therefore, which are one, though I must go, endure not yet. A breach, but an expansion, like gold to airy thinness beat. So if they be two, they are two so. As stiff string encompasses are two, their thigh sole, their fixed foot makes no show to move, but do if the other do. So he really portrays true love in this poetry. That though that separation doesn't mean anything when two souls are one. So they are never separated. The distance doesn't make any difference to true love. So I'm really impressed by his this poetry. So that's what I have to say. So rest, Miss rest of Jyotirmay can add to it, like what he really wants to say in this poem.
This is actually a very celebrated poem of one of the best, you would call.
Yeah, it is one of his best love poetry. Yeah.
Because it's very simple, but metaphysical in terms of metaphors. And thirdly, because it goes beyond physical love and it is spiritual. So there are three elements in it. Although very simple, he has used very complex or metaphysical conceit, what we call. He bids farewell, of course, he says in the same way, like virtuous men do. Which, like virtuous men, do not complain about death. We should be like those lovers, those virtuous people. Even though we are forced to spend the time apart, he tells that their farewell should not be an occasion for mourning or sorrow. So they should leave without tear floods. He writes tear floods, one great metaphor. And the second was sigh tempest. So he uses these natural phenomenon with tears, flood, sigh, that is crying, making noise, tempest. He calls them tempest. For to publicly announce their feelings in such a way would be profane, would be profanity, vulgarity of their love. The speaker says that when the earth moves, it brings harms and fears. But when the spheres experience trepidation, that is the earthquake, though the impact is greater, it is also innocent. It has to happen. The earth does tremble. The love of dull sublunary lovers, when we say sublunary, is basically the moon, when the earth looks, under the moon. It has a very sublunary effect, very calming effect. So that is what he says. We should behave like dull sublunary lovers. That means the moon will go and will be back vibrantly when we are together. So the love of dull sublunary lovers cannot survive separation, but it removes that which consumes the love itself. But the love he shares with his beloved is so refined. This is a very good phrase, he says. It's so refined and inter-assured of the mind. We are so sure of each other. We have so much faith and trust in each other that they need not worry about missing eyes, lips, and hands. So basically, even though physically when he says we are missing eyes, lips, and hands, he means it doesn't matter. Even though there's no physical love, our love will always be there in our own heart and mind. So the souls are still one. What he means is that our soul is still one, and it is not going to breach anyway. They are experiencing an expansion. The feeling that although they are so far, the love will increase.
Oh,
In
yeah.
the same way that
Now
gold,
it makes
he uses
sense.
gold,
Yeah.
can be stretched by beating it. By beating the gold, we can stretch it. You see, that's how ornaments are made. To airy thinness. The gold can be beaten to airy thinness. The soul they share will simply stretch to take in all the space between them. If their souls are separate, he says, they are like the feet of compass. Here he says, they are like the feet of compass. His lover's soul is the fixed root. His lover's soul is the fixed root put in the center, and his is the foot that moves around it. And his foot moves around it. The firmness of the center foot makes the circle that the outer foot draws perfect. When the center is very firm, the circle is perfect. The firmness makes my circle just and makes me end where I began. So where it will end, it will again begin. The circle ends where it begins. So it's going to be a perfect coming back together with greater love, with a much more tested love. This is a 9 stanza poem, and therefore he has used the ABBA 4 and then iambic pentameter. So that's a very famous, simplest.
Yeah, that's what I came to know.
One of the greatest of his poems, one of his greatest metaphysical poems.
One of the very well-known poems, yeah.
Yeah, and even I liked it. I just read it and I said, no, it makes a lot of sense. Like what he wants to say, like one of the best love poetry I have ever read. Yes.
Yes.
Valediction, forbidden warnings. You see the title and you get
Yes.
there is some message in it. You said that with
Yes.
the distance, love expands. Like it increases. Distance doesn't,
Yeah.
it destroy love or it minimizes it. So that's
It's
how
a
he
great
explains.
test of trust. Yes, it's a great test of love, and which they are going to pass wonderfully, and they did, of course. So the
So,
imageries are so
And I
wonderful.
read that his poetry that he's the next to Shakespeare in the field of English literature. He after Shakespeare, he's the one who is being read most by the students in universities or colleges. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
so I'll
Although
continue.
he's not very much understood.
So, what did you say, Jyoti ji?
I said he is very celebrated, but he is not very much known by many people like Shakespeare,
Yeah,
Wordsworth.
even
Yeah, he's not known.
I came to know of him through Kenny. She told me that, okay, we are going to talk about John Donne. I said, I heard about
Yeah.
Keats. I have heard about William Wordsworth. I have heard about
Yeah.
Jane Austen, but never
Yeah, you
heard
heard
about him.
about, yeah. There are many that we have heard about.
But anyway, you have chosen the best poem.
Yes.
I went to,
Yes.
you suggested me to read 10 poems of him, and this is the one I like the most.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now I'm continuing with another of his celebrated poem. This was published somewhere in 1633. And normally, we appreciate sun, obviously. Sun is so sacred that, it gives us immense light and power, energy. But John Donne has something different to say. The
Yes.
sun rising. There is sun rising. I mean, he is with his beloved, and he doesn't want sun to interrupt with the rays of sun. So this is how this is what made him, I think, write this poetry at a particular point of time. The spellings of sun is different. Like I think that time though these spellings were there, SUNNE.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's archaic Old English. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So spellings of sun is different. So it begins with the done chastising the sun for peeping through the curtains. You know that where he is spending time with his beloved. So it's a beautiful poem. There are 3 stanzas of this. I'll read out one stanza which makes a lot of sense. The sun rising. Busy
Yes.
old fool, unruly sun.
Fine.
Busy old fool, unruly sun. Who says, no one dares to say sun like this. Why dost thou thus, through windows and through curtains, call on us? Much to thy motions lovers' seasons run. Saucy, pedantic wretch, go chide. Late school boys and sore prentices, go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride. Call country ants to harvest offices. Love all alike, no season knows nor clime, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time. This is so beautifully well. Hours, days, months, they all are the rags of time. He has nothing to do with them. He has only to
Time.
spend. So this is one stanza. Jyoti ji, I would like you to elaborate this.
Yes, yes, yes. Donne is very famous for his rhetorical questions, and he answers them himself. Actually, his questions answers itself. He's very clear about it.
I think, sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. Maybe because he was a lawyer himself. He was a lawyer himself, and in his poems, you'll see that he justifies his answers also.
Yes, he does not want anyone else's answers. He already answers himself,
Yeah,
and he goes
has a lot
around
of
it.
justifications.
And he is very straightforward. You know, that is very startling about Dunn, that his questions are rhetorical, and secondly, he does not want anyone else's answers also.
Yeah.
He's very much, but he has logic. He has logic about it. And this is known as what we would say metaphysical conceit. Very
Yes.
conceited about his
Metaphysical.
heart. Conceit, yeah. So this is how again, this is one of his most celebrated poems. And it's gloriously frank. You know, it's like not at all like a very refined person. It's very frank. It begins with Donne chastising the sun for peeping through his curtains, rousing him and his lover as they lie in bed together one morning. Now, Donne's metaphors are very clever. They are very clever. Observe the way he takes the idea of being blinded by the sun's rays. It's impossible to be blinded by a beauty, isn't it? But he says that the sun's rays had blinded him towards his beautiful lover. And therefore, he would have loved to be with her for more time. But then the sun came in and interrupted their love, this peaceful going on. Donne's metaphors are therefore very, in a way you would say, rather not only clever, but ironic too, in some ways. And observe the way he takes the idea of being blinded and then he turns it on its head. And then he turns and saying that the sun itself may well be blinded by looking upon the eyes of his beloved. So he's so fascinated by the beauty of the love of his, lover, that he says maybe the sun wants to see the beauty of his lover, and therefore he might be blinded by looking at her. They are that dazzling and beautiful. The eyes of his beloved is more dazzling and beautiful than the sun. So in a way, there is the chastising and admiration. You see, he uses hyperbole. This is known as figure of speech hyperbole, where he tells that the lover's eyes are more dazzling.
Oh yeah,
than
this is
the
what
sun.
hyperbole is.
Very much. It's a hyperbole. It's impossible. And it's impossible to be blinded by beauty. No one gets blind by beauty. One is fascinated and your eyes get more open. It's like wider. So there is a kind of paradox as well. But the cleverness of the metaphysical conceit is to transform it from the cliche. Normally people would not imagine such a comparison. So he's breaking the cliche and declaration of love. So what he says is, I'm blinded by your beauty into something. People might say I'm blinded by your beauty. He says something more effective, far more effective, because as T.S. Eliot, one of his critics, observed, thoughts and feelings are united in Donne's poetry. You see, science, theology, his feelings, his mind, his heart, all are intertwined. And the comparisons, therefore, are startling and very abrupt and very new. And that is what makes him a metaphysical poet.
And one thing I'm still amused when you said that his questions are rhetoric. His questions are rhetoric, but he doesn't leave any possibility for people to answer. He himself will answer.
He answered it. He answers it in his own way and in a very different way than we can imagine. So that is the beauty of, or the conceit of a metaphysical poet, we might call it.
So now the question arises that we have known John Donne as a love poet, but most of his poetry, so much is written about death. So how is death treated in Donne's poetry?
Okay. the theme, the death, the theme of death is actually in poetry, in the view of death. John Donne's complex personality plays an important role in his poetry.
Yeah.
He had a very complex one. His intellect,
That
and
is
as
what
a result
makes
of
him
his
a metaphysical poet.
yeah,
His complex
that is what.
personality. Yeah.
Yes, his intellect and a result of his work demonstrates various opinions that at times conflict. They conflict or agree with each other. So these opposing views represent one of the most fascinating aspects of his poetry section. Seldom is this divergence presented as clearly and frequently as in the theme of death. As with most of the poets of his time, Donne was obsessed with death. He was totally obsessed, mesmerized by its mysteries, and charmed by its allure, something that is inevitable, and convinced of the existence of an afterlife. Being a Christian, he was convinced that death is not the end of life. There is an afterlife as a result of his Christian theology. As a result of his Christian theology, the way he studied, he finds himself at times unable to settle on a particular view of the subject, that is death. Some poems depict death as insignificant. He blows it out, while others present it as something he, and therefore all humans, should fear. This is a religious touch, that you will die, so live before you die. Secondly, don't do anything wrong because death will precede you. So basically, there are two aspects, very conflicting. One is he believed or he understood the concept of an afterlife. The conviction is shown by his understanding of death as a necessary stage. You have to die before reaching the glory of heaven. This is the theology, Christian theology, that you have to die to reach heaven, the promised life with God. You will go back to God. So remember, don't sin before you do that. His contradictory behavior is demonstrated by a fear of death, sometimes expressed in his search for ways in which he could triumph. There are sometimes with love, as he says, you can triumph over death, that you can live beyond. Love is the only way that will bring immortality to your temporal life over it instead of becoming its victim. He does not want to become its victim, but become as a lover, triumphant, which fueled his interest in the practice of suicide. It fueled him in the practice of suicide because that would give him immortality. There are times when he was very depressed after his wife's death. So one of the holy sonnets he wrote, "Death, be not proud. Death, be not proud," presents the contradictory views of Donne. The opening line says, "Death, be not proud. Thou some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For thou art not so," demonstrate his own uncertainty on the issue, since that some he mentions includes him at times. Some is him. However, he denies the power of death in the very next line and proceeds to list several reasons why. He gives various reasons, as he always gives to his own rhetorical questions. The people whom death believes it kills do not cease to live. In order to avoid the use of the word death, death does not have such powers. Death is not all powerful since it is part of God's creation. Since it is part of God's creation. Furthermore, death is not an end to life. Rather, it is a kind of sleep. It is a kind of sleep, a middle stage to cross before being reunited with the Creator. So he has so many allusions about death. And the final part, of course, he says in Donne's poetry is that its theme shifts from death to Donne himself. From death, it shifts to himself in the sonnet. And it is not an extreme example, for he focuses on death and himself, it demonstrates his conviction that a poem is worth writing even if it regards him in some way. Not yet canst thou kill me. He says, you can't kill me. I write. I'm a poet. So you can't kill me from rest and sleep. Serves to reinforce the idea of death as a mere transitory stage between the earthly and the afterlife.
Yeah.
So, he says, soon as
This
the
is
best men.
something I really like, that death is that transitory stage,
Yeah. It's just a transitory sleep before we wake up in another life
Just
with
a
our
transition.
Creator. And he does say, soon as our best men with thee do go. He says, yes, our best men will go with thee, of course, is used by them to remind the reader that death is not a punishment. That death is not a punishment only a few people receive. It's not that only few people die. Everyone dies. But an occurrence everyone will and must endure.
Yeah.
So it prepares, prepares every person that we are mortal. The fact that even our best men will embark on death's journey reinforces the previous arguments, possibly targeted at those people who fear death. He's trying to convince them there's no need to fear death as the final chapter of their existence. That is the final chapter of their existence. You have to reach there. That is the goal.
What he has written centuries back, till even today people say that God sometimes call good people.
The best people, yes. Yes.
So that's
The
how
good people go.
So that's how I can relate it. And I think we would really like to listen that good morrow as
Good
well.
morning. Yeah. Yeah. After death, it's a good morrow. Good morrow is a very simple meaning. It means good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
beauty of this poem. It's.
I'll just read a few because it's 21 lines. Again, it's an amulet.
It's a
And
line.
it's about a quatrain and then tetraset. I wonder by my thought what thou and I did till we laughed. He's wondering, he's talking to his lover. Did we till love? Were we not weaned till then? Were we feeding on our mother's milk or what? But sucked on country pleasures childishly? Or snorted in the seven sleepers then? Did we sleep? 'Twas so, but this all pleasures fancies be. If ever any beauty I did see, which I desired and got, it was but a dream of thee. But it was a dream of thee. And now, good morrow to our waking souls. Now, good morrow to our waking souls, which watch not one another out of fear for love. For love, all love of other sides controls. For love, all love of other sides controls, and makes one little room everywhere. Let see discover, to new worlds have gone. Let maps to others, world on worlds have shown. Let us possess one world. Let us possess one world, each hath one, and is one. My face is in thine eye. Thine is, mine appears. My face in thine eyes, thine in mine appears, and true plain hearts do in the faces rest. When can we find two better hemispheres? Where else can we find two better hemispheres? Without a sharp north, without declining west, whatever dies was not mixed equally. If our two loves be one, or thou and I, love so alike, that none do slacken, none can die. So love is, in this morning of awakening, is beyond death. Love is only that makes us immortal. We don't need any other world. Even though we may have two worlds, it can become one. two hemispheres
Gives us
become,
lot of strength.
yes. Love he felt. This was the second phase when he found Anne. And
Yeah.
then, it was an awakening for him, how love
Is
is
it
satisfying.
is it at that time this poetry was written by him when he met Anne?
I think so. They don't write it very clearly, but it's in the middle phase. It's not in the beginning when he was very cynical. When he was cynical, he wrote totally anti-woman. Now, this is something when he writes, it's in 1590s. I think likely in 1590s he writes it. And in this, the speaker describes love as a profound experience, very deep experience that's almost like religious epiphany. It's mostly like a spiritual calling and awakening. And indeed, the poem claims that erotic love can produce the same effect. He does not deny it. That when he says two worlds can become one, that two hemispheres become one, he does say that, but it has the same effect as religion. It is so intoxicating. Though, through love, the speaker's soul awakens. According to him, the soul awakens because of the love. The speaker abandons the outside world and the speaker finds immortality. This is a potentially subversive argument for two reasons. First, because the poem suggests that all love, even love outside of marriage, here he says, even love outside of marriage might have the transformative, enlightening effect. Secondly, because of the idea that romantic love can mirror the joys and revelations of religious devotion. So, in a way, he mixes it all up. His romanticism becomes spiritualism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he says, when did you and I even do before we were in love? What were we doing? Were we still breastfeeding or what? Did we only enjoy simple childish things? Or were we fast asleep with the seven sleepers? It's true. But all of this is just pleasure's dream. If ever I wanted and gained something beautiful, it was a dream of you. And now it's reality. That dream of you has become reality. And so, good morning to our souls, which are waking up. They do not watch each other out of fear anymore. There's no need for jealousy. Love makes it so that we don't need to look at anything except each other in each other's eyes, and a very small room as wide as the world. Let others do what they want. Let them make maps. Let them chart the world. Let us have just one world. Each of us is a world, and so each of us has a world of our own. So this is a very powerful poem, you see, and thus love will never lose its power, and we will not die. So it's actually a celebration of love.
Voice, yeah. So that
It
means
has
he
two
has
themes.
ended the poem on a very positive note.
Very positive.
Very
He has
positive.
two themes here. Love as an awakening. He talks about love as an awakening. And number two, exploration and adventure. Because, you see, the Good Morrow was written during the age of discovery, the period of intense European exploration lasting throughout 15th to 17th centuries. So this context informs the poems. In the second and the third stanza, they are focusing on sea discoverers, new worlds, mapped hemispheres. So basically, it's giving you the background. Let everyone do what they want, but we will be happy in our love. So basically, in a way, he is renouncing the worldly ambitions. There are many ambitions to men, but he's renouncing them all to be with his lover. So the lover's world is not totally separate from the wider world, but he says in the end that the lover's world is not totally separate from the wider world. Instead, it reaches its inner miniature. It's a miniature of the big world and essentially resulting in a microcosm that reproduces the entire world. So he talks about procreativity also here. You see, the entire world is there within the lover's relationship. by having a lover's
I
relationship.
mean, actually,
Yeah.
all his traits as a metaphysical poets are depicted in this. From where
Yes.
he's connecting, where he's going, and so
Yes.
that's very sweet of him actually. So
Yes.
yeah, now towards the end of the program,
Yeah.
I'm going to read out one stanza only, because that's again I think 3 or 4 stanzas poetry. But I'm going to read
Yes.
out stanza, but that's
Yes.
very
Yes. Yes.
powerful and very
Definitely.
interesting. That's go
Yes.
and catch
Yes.
the falling star.
Okay.
Go
Go
and
ahead.
catch the falling star. In fact, this was published after his death, and he never gave this name to him. After that, readers only gave this the name. Go and catch the falling star.
Mhm.
So this is actually based on 7 impossible tasks. So he has written it for young people, seven
Yeah. Yeah.
impossible tasks, and then that point of time when he had that kind of opinion that it is very hard to find out a very faithful woman.
Mhm.
So,
Yes.
yeah. So relating to it, he has given 7 impossible tasks. That is, go and catch the falling star. Go and catch the falling star. Get with child a mandrake root. A root that is, I mean, first of all, you can't catch the falling star. Then second task is that the mandrake, it's a man-shaped root, but you can't produce the child. Tell me where all past years are. Where are the past years? Can you see? I mean, it's impossible to go and trace the past years. Gone is gone. Right? Or who cleft the devil's foot? Who cleft devil has those tears and cuts
Very
on the foot, that who did that? We don't know. Then teach me to hear mermaids singing. Now mermaid is again a illusion. It's fiction. So who has heard mermaids singing? Or to keep off the envy stinging. Like every person on this earth has little bit of envy in himself or herself. So no one is completely devoid of it. So that's, and find what wind serves to advance an honest mind. Like I mean, what kind of wind will advance that honest mind through which the mind can grow, that honest person can grow. So this is something beautiful. This paragraph is so beautiful.
Yeah.
With impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of the Dan's cynical poems.
It
When he
is.
was trying to get true life. It is
Very,
one of, and it was not published
that is why
because
he
it
has
was so
given
anti-woman.
impossible tasks. 7 impossible tasks
Yeah.
that finding true love or finding a very faithful woman is totally next to impossible. Similarly, these
Well,
7
yes.
tasks is related to it.
Yes. Yes.
So, finally,
So,
John Donne was born in London, and he completed his life journey on 31st of March 1631 in London. Uh, and yes, of course, he is a very celebrated poet. And thank you so much, Jyoti ji. And today,
my pleasure.
I hope
My
you enjoyed.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what
Thanks.
about Anupam? Did she
Huh?
enjoy? Where is she? Anupam, where is she?
Anu? I don't know where she
Anu. Anyway,
Anupam.
we all enjoyed.
We all enjoyed, yeah. So now I think we can ask the listeners, we can ask our viewers. You give us the suggestion. I mean, which English
Yeah,
poet
you can
you
ask
want
questions.
us? Yeah.
Yeah, you can ask questions as well, which is good.
You
You
can
know,
ask.
I
You
would.
can ask the
Yeah.
questions, and
Yes.
you give us the suggestions that that which English poet you want us to
Yes.
explore the life of the poet and the his poetic expressions.
Yeah.
So
Which poet? Next time, which poet should we discuss?
yeah, next time. Yeah. Otherwise, if you won't tell us, then it will be a surprise for you.
Yeah.
we will decide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Jyoti ji. Every time it's a pleasure, and there's lot to learn. There's lot to learn from you every time. Like every time my mastery in literature is little bit improved.
Oh, so sweet of you. You are already researching so much.
Come on.
You are giving me the questions to answer. So you are doing such a lot of research because making questions is not an easy task, on any point. So you are doing a lot of research work and learning yourself. You don't need to give credit to me.
But those questions are not rhetoric.